the Rams are the best team on offense along with the Chiefs, the best team on defense along with the Jags. They're the best team in the NFL, pretty clearly.
Well, listen, nobody's refuting that, but the best team doesn't always win in football. Best team may always win in basketball. Sometimes the best team win in baseball unless somebody just succumbs to great pitching. But the fact is, in the sport of football, the best team doesn't always win. Sometimes you got to show up. It doesn't matter how great you are. There's plenty of evidence over the years where some of the greatest teams in the NFL did not show up on one particular Sunday afternoon. That's why you got a movie called Any Given Sunday. These are the kind of things that happen, and that's the way I look at it.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Because I think the past couple weeks, to me, the Rams have showed a lot. The fact that they get in a shootout against the Minnesota Vikings, pull that off, then go on in a divisional road game against the Seattle Seahawks and find a way to win. After those 2 weeks, you still seem like you still have trepidation as far as them being the best.
Because again, I'm waiting for the day where their offense is neutralized. I don't believe that over the course of 16 weeks plus through a playoffs, you're not going to wet the bed at some point offensively. And
on defense?
I'm saying
but their defense.
You're talking about offensively.
I'm saying offensively. So what I want to see is when that happens, how do you respond then?
Let me get to the other heavyweight. You want to say one?
Well, Todd Gurley, who you've mentioned, he's a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
The only reason he's top 10 and not top 5 was because he was, there were injury concerns going into the draft. You got the number 1 overall pick at quarterback. You have a top 5 type pick at running back.
They're good.
Aaron Donald, until between Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt, he was the defensive. I mean, it's a ridiculous.
You know who else is good?
We don't know that.
The Chiefs' defense showing up in a big way. Well, actually, the offense is good, but stay with me. At Arrowhead yesterday, taking down the Jags to remain undefeated. They're the only unbeaten team in the AFC and hold a 1-game lead over the Bengals for the number 1 seed in the conference. Max Kell, time to admit that the Chiefs are the favorites in the AFC, even with that defense that's been suspect.
You have to make them the favorites at this point because the defense actually showed up and played much, much better. And there were signs of the defense. I mentioned the Kansas City defense was terrible in everything except for one thing. Third down.
Right.
Like when you need them to that bend don't break thing, they had the DNA of a bend don't break defense, and then they showed up and they're improving throughout the season. The offense is ridiculous. I'm still not picking them to get out of the AFC. I still like the Chargers more. But in terms of who should be the betting favorite in the AFC right now, pretty clearly Kansas City.
Oh, I don't think it's pretty clear at all. I look at it, the New England Patriots, they just got Edelman back. You'll have Gronk. Sony Michel has been running the football effectively for them over the past couple of weeks. They're getting their bearings under them, not to mention the fact that everybody's been talking about the other teams in the AFC, whether it's Kansas City, the Chargers coming on strong, the Bengals and how they've looked, the problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, which ran roughshod over the New England Patriots when they faced one another a couple of weeks ago. There's been a whole bunch of stories that have allowed the New England Patriots to fly under the radar. I'm looking at it from that perspective, and then I'm also saying to myself, don't give me yesterday's game as some kind of evidence about the Kansas City Chiefs. Blake Bortles threw 4 interceptions. I'm so surprised. This turnover machine waiting to happen. I knew it. I knew that damn Blake Bortles. And when I talked about the Jacksonville Jaguars, what was it that I kept saying? Why did I refuse to sit up there and say they were Super Bowl favorite? Because of that damn Blake Bortles.
He's a problem.
I don't believe in him. And I felt bad for Jalen Ramsey and those boys yesterday. Because that wasn't about them. That was about a quarterback that was just so awful. I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback throw for over 400 yards that looked that bad. In the same game. I don't even know if I've seen it before.
I worry about Jacksonville wasting that defense with that quarterback.
That's right.
I really worry about that.
Awful.
But listen, to go to your point, I do believe, the Chiefs play the Patriots next week, I think, on Sunday Night Football. To me, that's going to be telling because as great as the Chiefs' offense has been, remember,
where is
Patrick
that game?
Mahomes.
Arrowhead or Foxborough? I'll look
I think it's in Foxborough.
Oh, Foxborough.
Okay, as great as their offense look, Patrick Mahomes only started 6 games. Okay, so he's like a Ben Simmons.
And he slowed down a little the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, he had 2 interceptions in this game. So Bill Belichick, usually quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes eat those guys for lunch. The fact that he doesn't have much experience. So I think this next game in Foxborough is going to be very telling as to why
sometimes the lunch eats you.
You anointed those guys a little bit too early. Let's wait to see how they look in Foxborough.
I did not think the Chiefs were going to have an undefeated season. In fact, this was the part of the year I expected them to struggle, starting with Jacksonville. And you're right. Had Jacksonville had a good quarterback, they probably could have won that game. But they don't. And that's going to be their downfall. When you look at the AFC, the quarterback holds Jacksonville back. I understand faith in the Patriots based on Belichick, Brady, and what they've accomplished and everything. But what we've seen so far, I think Kansas City has looked better. And yes, going into Foxborough, of course, they're not going to be undefeated. That's a game you circle, they might lose that game. But overall, by the end of the season, who do you expect to be better? The young, dynamic, seemingly unstoppable offense whose defense is coming around? Or the old team that hasn't really started doing it yet? I'll take the young, dynamic team.
Listen, I think it all depends on, at the end of the day, where are they playing at the end of the year? Because we know with the Patriots, they tend to feast on the AFC East, which usually gives them home field advantage. So if it's one thing is playing at Arrowhead, that's one thing. But you got to go to Foxborough in the playoffs with still a relatively young quarterback.
Records would be important.
Who are you betting on? I'm betting on the Patriots.